And for this one, I'm going to read The Woods. Hey guys, this is Eliza and welcome back to a new video. So today we'll be talking about my TBR for the SimsAthon readathon. So first off, SimsAthon does take place for the entirety of October, and I've not put books for a lot of the challenges. I've just picked the ones that I specifically have books for, or audiobooks for, because I have been in a reading slump, so I'm not sure how much exactly I'm going to be able to get to, but these are the books that I'm like really anticipating right now and want to read in October anyway, so I just put them in spots. And I will be reading off my phone because, well, this is the map. I will put the map on the screen, but yeah, there's like a map where you have a starting section and then you go to the live mode section, and then there's career options, and then there's also an expansion pack, which is the outdoor retreat edition. So I'll put the first map here, the other ones I'll link down below anyways, and I'll link the Twitter and everything down below for the readathon. But to start off with, I'm starting at the choose a household section, which is to read a book from late in the series. And for this one, I plan to read Taken at the Flood by Agatha Christie. This is, I think, the 28th book in the Hercule Poirot series. I think it's 28th or 27th or something, I don't know. Somewhere around in those late 20s, so it's definitely later in the series. And this is just the next audiobook in the series that I need to listen to, and it fits the challenge. And most of the books that I currently have are either first in a series or they were used for other challenges. So that's why I decided to go with this one, and I am currently listening to an Agatha Christie book, so I can basically just finish this one and then move on to the next one. So from there, I'm going to build a house, and for this one you need to read something set in another world. And for this one I plan to read Tiger Queen by Annie Sullivan. This one is set in, hold on, there's a name I think at the start, the Kingdom of Atra or Atra, I'm not sure exactly, but yeah, it is set in another world. This one I am highly anticipating. It is super short as well, so it should be easy to get through. This is like just over 300 pages, so this one should be a pretty easy read, and it is one of my anticipated, and I kind of want to go with books that I really feel like reading at the moment because I'm coming out of a reading slump, or hopefully I'm coming out of a reading slump. So after building a house, I need to perfect the layout. And for this one, you need to read a book with an interesting format. And I'm going to listen to the audiobook for Illuminate by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I have read this full series. I have reread Illuminate and Gemina, I think, once. I might have reread Illuminate twice now, but I want to reread them, all three of them, now that all three are out, and listen to Obsidio because I haven't actually listened to that one on audiobook yet. So yeah, I plan on listening to this one on audiobook, and this is obviously a very interesting format as it is written as a dossier of documents. So after I perfect the layout, we need to do the interior design, and for this one you need to read a book with a pretty cover, and I'm going to be reading Toil and Trouble, which is an anthology. This one I've had on TBR before and I still haven't got around to it. This one I will be listening to on audiobook, and the cover is really interesting, both the audiobook cover and the normal cover, because there is like two separate kind of images and both of them are really nice, so I chose it for this challenge. And I haven't chosen a book for landscaping, so we're going to move down into the live mode. I've picked a couple different challenges for this one, so I'll just read out the ones that I have chosen. So the first live mode one is Fall in Love. Read a book with a romance element, and usually I don't read romances, you should probably know that by now, but I do want to read Honor Among Thieves by Rachel Kane, which says it has a romance in it, so I'm counting it for this challenge. Definitely not something I would usually pick up based on the fact that it's a romance, but it's also like sci-fi, so that's the reason I want to pick it up. The next live mode challenge is Reach the Top of Your Career Goal, and for this one you need to read a finale. And for this one I plan to read When She Rains by Jodie Meadows. This is the third book in the Fallen Isles trilogy, the first book being Before She Ignites. I recently read As She Ascends and loved it, and then I picked this one up, and this cover is stunning. It is absolutely gorgeous, and I have a signed book plate because of pre-order incentives. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, this is the last book in the trilogy, and I can't wait to read it. And it's the finale of a series, so it fits the challenge. So the next one is Take a Bubble Bath, and for this one you need to read a book over 400 pages, and I'm going to read Capturing the Devil by Kerry Maniscalco. This is the last book in the Stalking Jack the Ripper series. I could honestly swap this one and When She Rains Out, because they're both over 400 and they're both finales in series. So could read either, but this is the one I'm going to read for this. Obviously, I love this series. It is amazing and I can't wait for the last book. I'm hoping I enjoy it a bit more than book 3, as book 3 was my least favourite out of the whole series. So fingers crossed. I love this one. And also this pisses me off. This cover pisses me off. Not the actual like image or anything, but the fact that this is really shiny and none of the other books in the series are really shiny and it just doesn't match. And that annoys me. Everything else matches, but if this wasn't shiny, like this background wasn't shiny, it would match perfectly. Why do you do that? I don't understand. It's also a bitch to take photos of. So the next live mode I'm going to go for is Get Married. Interesting one. Read a book with an established couple. And for this one, I'm going to read Obsidio by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This one's like really shiny too. There is a couple in this one that is established in one of the previous books. So that's why I'm going to use this one. I'm not going to say who because that's possibly spoilers for Illuminate. So the last live mode one that I have a book chosen for is Pay Bills. And for this one, you need to read the book that you most recently purchased. And that was for me A Conjuring of Light by B.E. Schwab. Not this particular edition. I did order the collector's exclusive editions in all 3 books and they were the last thing I purchased. So Conjuring of Light hasn't even arrived to me yet. I've just received A Darker Shade of Magic. Hopefully the other 2 will be here either today or tomorrow, but if not, I'm just going to read this one, but it is the last one I've purchased, even if I haven't received it yet. So one of the live mode challenges is to choose a career. I have actually chosen books for a fair few of the careers, and that does say somewhere, I remember reading that you can like swap between careers. So that is what I'm going to do. So I'll put the image here first off, just in case you're curious. Again, all the images are linked down below. But to start with, we have the astronaut career, which is to read a book set in space. And for this one, I'm going to read The Woods. And for this one, I'm going to read The Woods Volume 4 by Michael, I'm not sure how to pronounce that last name. This one we think is set in space. It's like very mysterious. They get like teleported to a different place and we think it's a different planet. So, well, we're assuming it's a different planet. And it's a graphic novel and I just need a few graphic novels in this TBR so I actually can, you know, maybe get through them because I have a lot of physical books and I need some graphic novels and audiobooks to break that shit up. The next career is athlete, which is probably the least likely career. Like, I would probably be more likely to become an astronaut than to become an athlete. Let's be real. But for this one, you need to read a book featuring sport, and I'm going to be reading Fence Volume 1 by C.S. Yes, C.S. Packet. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. This one is about fencing. So it is a sport. It's a graphic novel. Another quick short one, and I've heard pretty good praise about it. So yeah, I'm keen to get to it. And I'm sorry if you guys can hear that it's raining. I'm not sure if my microphone is strong enough to pick that up, but it is raining. And that's exciting because we're in a fucking drought. The next career is business, and for this one you need to read a book with a number in the title, and I'm going to be reading The Woods Volume 5 because 5 is in the title. This one is just the next one in the series and it has the number 5 in the title. The next career is a criminal, and for this one you need to read a thriller, and I'm planning on reading the audiobook of I Am Still Alive. Is that what it's called? Yes, I'm Still Alive by Kate Alice Marshall. A long name. This one I saw around a fair bit, I think like a couple months back now. Everyone was like talking about it and it looks really interesting, and it's a thriller and it's on SCRIBD as an audiobook, and I actually enjoy listening to audiobooks, listening to thrillers as audiobooks. I feel like it makes them creepier. I don't know. So yeah, I'm planning on reading this one, and it is a thriller, so it fits. The next career is a painter, and for this one you need to read a book with a colourful cover, and I'm going to be reading The Backstages Volume 1 by James Tinian IV, or whatever his name is. Obviously you can see by the cover it is colourful and it fits this challenge. There's like pinks and blues and shit on it. So yeah, I'm keen to get to this one. It sounds interesting. It's like a contemporary setting, but it sounds like it's going to be like fantasy elements, so I'm keen. Next we have The Secret Agent, and for this one you need to read a mystery book, and for this one I'm just going to be reading the next book in the Agatha Christie series depending on what I'm up to at the time. So the next career is a style influencer, and for this one you need to read a hyped book, and I'm going to be reading An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson, which I said to myself I would never read because through Facebook I was just so fucking sick of hearing about this damn book, but it's on SCRIBD as an audiobook, which is the only way I'm ever going to listen to it or ever going to read it, is through an audiobook, because it makes it life easier. But yeah, so I'm going to read this one. Maybe I might just not bother and choose another one, but for the moment this is the one that is on my TBR. So the next career is a tech guru, and for this one you need to read a futuristic book, and I'm gonna read Wildcard by Marie Lu. This is the second book to Warcross, which I read a couple years ago. I still haven't gotten to this one. I really need to get to it, and it is like set futuristic in like a gaming world type thing, and I am curious about it, but I did not like in the slightest the romance in the first book, so that has like made me very iffy to pick up the second one, but I am super keen to pick it up. I just hope that romance disappears off the face of the earth, or the face of the gaming console, I don't know. And the last career is a writer, and for this one you need to read a book from a new to you author, and I'm going to be reading Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim on audiobook. I'm pretty sure I do have the physical copy, obviously I am holding it in my hand, but I do think I'm going to listen to the audiobook for this one, as it is on SCRIBD and it sounds interesting and I want to read it, but there's too many physical books on my TBR. So I chose it in audiobook, and I've never read anything by Elizabeth Lim. I'm pretty sure this is her debut. I think it might not be, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure it is. So yeah, new to me author, fits the challenge. And then there is the expansion pack, which I will put here. I haven't actually chosen a book for any of these challenges yet, but if I have time I'll probably just like go through audiobooks and like find ones that fit and just read them as is. I will be doing reading vlogs for the entirety, hopefully, of SimsAthon. I'm planning on doing weekly reading vlogs, but it does overlap with Mateathon, which is a readathon that I co-host. I will leave a link down below to the announcement, and it is an Australian themed readathon and it goes for 10 days, and I will be daily vlogging for that one. So I will be mostly doing weekly vlogs, but there will be some daily vlogs in the middle there for Mateathon when it crosses over. So that is all the books that I plan to read for SimsAthon. Obviously I will probably swap out some books here and there and add some more in, which is what I usually do. Half the time I don't even read the books that were on my TBR, I just read other ones. But we'll see what happens. So yeah, if you're participating in SimsAthon, let me know in the comments and let me know what book you are most anticipating reading in October. And I will see you guys in my next video.